Hi guys, it's Nathan here from Headbangers. Today we're doing our albums of the year. So me and Brad have picked 10 of our favourite albums that have dropped in 2023, and what a year it's been. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in, by the way. It's been a great year for us, great year for music. So the way it kind of goes is there's no particular order to the first top five. And then after that it's our official, like these are the order that we like them in. So yeah, without any further ado, here's the episode. If you can let us know as well which your top 10 is, or your top five, or your favourite album from the year, in the comments below, that'd be appreciated. If you do like the podcast, don't forget to check us out on social media. Everywhere it's Headbangers Podcast, except for Twitter, where it's Headbangers Pod 1. We are also on streaming services in case you're watching on YouTube. So make sure you leave us a rating if you're listening to us on there. If you're on YouTube, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to catch up on all the videos and everything like that. But yeah, here's the episode.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Chad from Frozen Soul. My favorite album of the year is Make Them Beg for Death by Dying Fetus. Hardest record of the year, hands down.
What's up, guys? This is Hudson from Trog and Reeking Aura. So I was kind of split between two records this year. This one is definitely my most spun. This is Dying Fetus's new one, Make Them Beg for Death. Very short, very sweet, fucking brutal all the way through. Nothing new from them, but I didn't really want anything new. My absolute number one of the year is going to be the new Horrendous, Ontological Mysterium. Fucking super progressive, really ambitious vocal techniques. The bass, the fretless bass is just going off the entire time. And the songwriting is incredible.
Hi, I'm Dylan from Godeth, and my album of the year would be Spectral Intercession by Coffin Mulch.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Harry from Burner, and my album of the year for 2023 is Wallowing's Earth Reaper. It's this incredible blend of doom, sludge, post-elements, noise, and prog to make this absolute masterpiece.
Welcome back to the Headbangers Podcast, where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Today is the album of the year list. Obviously, it's December time, and as well as it being Christmas, the most important thing for the metal and the hardcore community is the album of the year. It's like an advent calendar almost. You get one every day. And here's mine and Nathan's. What you thinking, Nathan? How's 2023 been for albums, do you think, as a whole?
You know, I was looking back on it, and it's been an all right year, actually.
Mm.
I still don't think as good. To be fair, great year for hardcore and death metal. I will say that. Great year. Way better than last, but I think as an overall arc, I don't think it's been as good as last year.
Yeah.
I feel like we got bombarded last year.
I feel the same. Like, I think what happened with 2023, there was like really good albums here and there, but I think it only when it got to like summertime and then up till now, there's just been an homage of like, you know, crazily good albums that have come out. But the first like half of 2023, a bit weak in my opinion for albums.
Yeah.
But they have saved it, and there is a lot. And to be fair, by the end, I was struggling to actually put together a list because there was just so many good ones I could think of to put on there. But lo and behold, we have our lists.
Yeah, there was a lot I forgot about until we had to make this list. So when I had to like panic and go, right, I've only got five. Fuck. And like going through, and I was like, right, I need to fill out another five. And I was looking back and just like what stuff I've listened, and I was like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was good. I mean,
Yeah.
it happened. A lot of them came out right at the beginning, and then there was like a small bit in summer, and then there's like a small bit now. So because it was all spread out, it didn't feel like there were one a month. I couldn't go, yeah, I'm gonna go back to there. That was a good one. That.
Yeah, literally. Well, it's true Headbangers fashion. You know, we leave things to last minute, but we hope you enjoy your list. I think, you know, once again, we've got like a good mixture of things to enjoy. You know, both the hardcore and the metal kids will be happy with this one. So, do you want to kick us off, Nathan, with your? I probably should note first as well. So our top five we have ordered. The rest are in no particular order. It's just too hard to get them all in a ranking. But you know, these are what made the cut. This is the top 10, and the top five is in order. You might see a crossover or two, but without further ado, Nathan, kick us off with your first one.
So my first one, again, Brad said no particular order. It's probably the Tsunami LP.
Just keep on burning, and it's like your heart. Wait on the true light will get you far.
Right, and I know, so I feel like some people might go, yeah, but does it count as an LP? Because a lot of them were just like other songs re-released in an LP in an LP form. I'm still counting it because there's a few original songs on there. Yes, there's some there's some classics from Tsunami on there. But I tell you what, the re-recordings on them makes them sound way fucking better. Like, and the recordings on them originally was fucking hard. And like, mate, it's fucking Tsunami. It's like, an album full of just Tsunami songs, and it's hard as fuck, man. Like, I actually saw, like, I didn't realize how big Tsunami was getting until I saw a poster for the new, LDB Fest, right? And they're on the same level as Obituary on that roster.
I mean, that
Like,
speaks volumes,
fucking,
doesn't it? For a hardcore
yeah,
band as well, you know what I mean?
mate, for a hardcore band, that's amazing. And like, this fucking record, it slaps you in the face from start to finish. There's no like non-mosh songs. Tsunami's Tsunami. They know they're Tsunami. They're not gonna go, hey, we're gonna make some slow shit. No, it's in your face, hardcore. Just smack it and smack someone in the face, mosh. Do you know what I mean? From start to finish. And that's why I love this fucking record, because it knows what it is. It's like, nah, we're just gonna do this because this is us.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Yeah, because obviously you sent me your list, and I listened to, I tried to listen to as many as I can. I actually listened to this album apparently through the year, so it's another one where, like, you come back and then you realize that, like, oh fucking hell yeah, and then you remember the time you listened to it. But yeah, I think when I went through the Tsunami record, I was like, it's just you know what to expect, don't you, of Tsunami? It's like, it's gonna slap you in the face, like you said, and there's some monster riffs in there. I think Tsunami are really like proving themselves to be like, I think they'll be considered like a legacy band someday in the hardcore scene for sure. And like, I don't know anyone else listened to Tsunami and been and left disappointed after an album. Like, they just don't miss, do they?
Nah, they're like the rock star of modern hardcore. Tsunami's gonna be like, oh, we're releasing a new song. You know that's gonna be hard. Do you know what I
And
mean?
you
Like,
just know it will
they're
be.
not gonna miss. They're not gonna miss. Right? That's the thing. Like, as well, I find it crazy that they started kind of like as a jokey band. Like, nothing. None of them ever thought, oh, proper serious. This could be our careers. But like, I think it really showed like what you can do. Like, they didn't take themselves too seriously. Came out, here's some tracks. Did a few shows, and then obviously lockdown happened. But then they blew up during lockdown. Came out of it, and they're still like, yeah, let's just do some shows and release some more music. And it's just everything's like, because I think they've written it from like the vein of like, hey, like, let's not take this too seriously. This is what we want to do. We just want to be a hard band. That's what makes them so good, in my opinion, because they achieve that in such a good way, and like really fucking. They don't break the mold. They just make something that's perfect. Do you know what I mean? For the
Yeah,
mold, like, that's what I like about them.
completely agree. Completely agree. So, speaking of another band that's making waves, obviously we've had the pleasure of having them on the podcast. I have to a big shout out to Celestial Sanctuary, the Insatiable Thirst for Torment album. Like, fuck me, if I think this might be Celestial Sanctuary's like Rain and Blood, like, because this was phenomenal. And I generally think that they are one of the best death metal bands in the scene right now, and it makes me so proud to say that they're from the UK as well. I feel like the UK is coming up again. I feel like it dipped down for a little bit, and now it's like back up on top. But yeah, it's just like, it's got everything that death metal needs. It's got that sort of like comic-y death metal style with the gore. The riffs, probably some of the greatest riffs that have come out this year. I think was that song about Chunder or something. That I think it's like the fourth or third song, and I was just like, God damn, it just goes so hard. I think the vocals as well. They were great on the last album, but I really feel like he's stepped them up with this release too. Yeah, also an incredible live performance when we saw them live too. So yeah, hats off to Celestial Sanctuary. I think, like, if this is is it the third album by Celestial Sanctuary?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, when they sent us this early after we interviewed Tom, and like, I remember listening to it, and everything about it, just they stepped their fucking game up. Like, there was a great band to start off with, but this album I feel like showed just another layer to them as well. Like I remember listening to going, this is gonna do well. This, you know what I mean? Like even down to the fucking artwork. The artwork is a show of
Incredible.
we're
Absolutely
stepping
incredible.
our fucking game up. Do you know what I mean? Like, but everything about it, like, there's like obviously we spoke to Tom and there's some new elements in there from other members of the band and stuff like that. Like, and they really come through and they add just an extra decent, really, really good layer to that band. Like, there's it feels like they've hit
A lot
this
more
mark
depth.
where, yeah, like even it feels like they're evolving in the album. Like, but like it's weird. It feels like they're evolving, but they've also found the sound. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's gonna be more, but I also would be okay if it was just this. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely, yeah. I think they have come into their own and they have found their own sound. Like it doesn't feel like I'm listening to another album by like a legacy death metal band. It feels like something that they've made their own, and they feel like I don't know, like they almost got the pick of destiny or something in this album, and they just made an absolute masterpiece. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. You know, I'm going to support Celestial Sanctuary till the end. They're incredible. What's next for you?
So my next one is Never Ending Game Outcry. Now, I fucking loved this one when it came out. So, like, it came out in like May, and I remember just sitting there, and it would get me through every single bus journey. I think I listened to it like 5 times, whilst on the way to work, and like, fuck me, what a banger! Like, it's emotional. Yeah, I mean, there's a few songs where it's like you just want to sing along to. There's mosh songs, you know, hardcore band. It's what you grow to expect, but I think everything about it is just like a different level of like hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the stuff that you would necessarily associate with it. Sometimes like there is some songs where it's just like it'll be like this really fucking in depth, you know, like so there's some songs that feel like it's got harsh vocals but as like a ballad format. Do you know what I mean? Like it does feel like that. And yeah, I mean, fuck me, the highlight for me is the song that has Justice from Angel Dust and Trapped Under Ice. It was just like how his feature just comes in at the end, and it's right when the hard riff comes in, it just comes in right at the end, and it just, mate, every time I listen to it, I always skip it back to that bit because I think it's such a well-made bit. It's like, oh, that is so well fucking done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there weren't any punches pulled. It like they knew, oh, maybe at the end we should put that. And then, but the entire album's like that as well, where there's these like subtle little bits that you listen to it and you're like, yeah, I want to put that bit anywhere else other than that because it's like that is perfect the way where it is. Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't have been like, oh, well, I would have preferred if you saved the mosh bit for later. It's like, no, that was the perfect moment to drop that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's every single song's like that.
Yeah, it had this sort of like, because I listened to it today actually, and I had that sort of like empowering hardcore sounds in some of the songs that I listened to. Like, it's a proper like rager, but it's also like, you know, it kind of makes you feel good in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got a positive vibe to it, which I think is the great thing about hardcore that I think, you know, is a bit lost in metal sometimes. You know, I feel like metal is, for the most part, pessimistic, and then hardcore's got the optimism, and I think that's definitely what I felt with this. Some really, really great riffs and breakdowns. I need to definitely have another run of this one because I think out of the ones, you know, that I wasn't too familiar with, I think I enjoyed this one the most.
Yeah,
great record.
Honestly, like I agree with you. It has like this upbeat feel to it where you listen to it and you're like, I feel good. You know what? I feel like I want to do something about
live shit, but it's going to be okay, right? You know?
Yeah, no, but that's the thing though. Like it's the Hatebreed effect where it's like, you know, on the surface it sounds negative. Like it sounds like they'd be like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this. But it's like when you actually really listen to it, you're like, oh, no. Like there's something uplifting about this.
Yeah,
do you know
yeah.
I mean? That's what I found great about the album.
Yeah, completely agree, man. I'm going to revisit this one. So next for me is Black Braid 2. So second release by Blackbird. Yeah, there's not much black metal feature this one. There was like quite a few albums that I enjoyed, but I felt like, and I know Blackbird has sort of got this sort of controversy behind it. You know, there's a lot of people that think that they're sort of posers in the black metal scene. Of course they do, because, you know, black metal fans. But yeah, I thought this was like a really, really great album, and I loved the first record. I think it breathes some life, and again, what we've said before, like, you know, this black metal plane is something that you can mold and you can change into whatever you want it to be. And there's so much melody in this. You know, the riffs, they all feel like they evolve and they lead into different avenues. It's not just a straightforward piece, but there's also like some much welcome folk elements in here too. So, you know, it's got that sort of, you know, because it's like based around like Native American themes, and so it's got that sort of like aspect to it when it feels a bit primitive and it feels quite cool. You're releasing all these like sort of animalistic sounds, and it's great, honestly. And I think, you know, six or something songs on the record, you know, some of them are a bit long, but they never feels like they drag out, which sometimes, you know, when you see a song that's 13 minutes, it can either do two things. It can either be like, fuck me, we're in for a long ride and I want to turn this off and skip to the next one, or like, much like how I feel about Opeth, you know, when you listen to 13 minutes, it feels like you listen to 4 songs in one. And that's the great thing about this album. And it's probably, despite what people say, I think it's the best black metal album this year. It's just incredible. He's a solid musician, and I think he's, you know, he's getting bigger and bigger, and I think they're going places for sure.
Yeah, I've got to admit, Brad, and it won't be an album of the year without a Nathan fuck up. When you sent me your list, I did not see that on the list. Well, it's not that I didn't see it on the list. It's more that when I was going through Spotify, the stuff I didn't recognize, I like skimmed through the list and go, yeah, I know most of that. And then I'd search the ones I didn't, and I just happened to miss that one. So I'm going to take your word for it, Brad.
Yeah, take my word
check
for
it out later on. Because I genuinely, when you said Blackbird, I like scrolled down to the list. I was like, I did not.
Just like an error message going in your head. Just like, yeah, wait a minute, it's on the list.
I was there like, I did not see that on that fucking list today.
Yeah, I think you might enjoy it though, because like it's something different. I think it has breathed a bit of life into the genre for this year. So yeah, totally would recommend when you can listen to in your spare time, I guess.
I mean, honestly, all the ones I didn't recognize, I listened to, and then I just missed that one. Hey, it's me. It won't be a good one. It won't be a Headbangers episode without at least one fuck up.
Exactly. You don't come to Headbangers for professionalism, do you?
Yeah, we're not professionals. Do you know what I mean? We barely know how to speak English. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, well, I'm fucking Fred here. My next one is Buggin' Concrete Cowboys. Another one from the beginning of the year that, like, so Bangers and Mosh really put me onto this one. So I remember listening to one of their Bangers episodes, and like, oh, for me, I think it was Jimmy. Like, oh, for me, one of the bangers is like Buggin' Concrete Cowboys. I was like, I'm gonna check that out, because as soon as he said hardcore, I'm like, I'm checking that shit out. Fuck me, it's such a solid album. Like, every song, it's just hard as fuck. But like, it's not hard in the sense of dun dun dun. It's just got these really well executed and well written and like very eloquent fucking like mosh to it. But it's got, you can mosh to it, but you can also probably have a little bit of a dance,
a boogie.
You know what I mean, a little boogie. But like as well, like it just sounds really raw. It sounds like everyone is pissed off about whatever they're singing about. Like every single moment as well. Like it feels very raw. It feels very emotional. It feels very real. But again, it's also just got that groove. So you're like, oh yeah, I could have a dance to this. But I mean, like, and I really enjoyed this fucking one when I listened to it after Bangers and Mosh's recommendation, and when I was going through the list, I've been like, all right, which one's like my favorite from this year? I remember just going back and like, let's check it out again, and I was like, yeah, this has got to go on the list, because every song slaps.
Yeah, no, listen, I checked a bit of this out. It was cool. It's definitely got the speed. You know, I feel like sometimes, like say with hardcore, you've got like a some different levels you can take it. I feel like this has got like a bit of thrashy elements in there for sure. Like it's got the speed. I think the vocals are pretty cool as well. Like, kind of adds that sort of rage that they're feeling, like you said. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of variety. I'm gonna have to go in and like properly listen to the ones, like some of the rest of the album, because the ones I listen to are like pretty fast. But, they've got that kind of crossover vibe. But I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah,
I
no,
couldn't tell. Obviously, I don't know anything about the band. So I was trying to work out if it's a lady singing or if it's a man. Because it's quite a high pitched vocals, isn't it? So I was like trying to work it out. You could
bro,
probably let me know.
there's a photo of them on the Spotify page.
Yeah, but I just queued up the songs. I was like going through them as fast as I can, so I didn't get a chance.
Mate, before filming the episode, did you not Google like bugging band and then just see the list of members?
No.
Okay.
No,
Well,
it's on
either way-
sites. I'm on sites. Like you said, Nathan, we don't come to headbangers for professionalism. So you really think I did that R&D beforehand?
Yeah. All right. Either way, great band, great album. Fucking loved it. But yeah, what's your next one, Brad?
Yeah, agreed. So for me next is Drain, Living Proof.
It's to prove you wrong. Now here's to break you out. Be the devil on a soldier. Who's you gonna break their rules?
So I guess we can both talk about this one because this is a crossover one.
Honestly, this is on both our lists, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I'm looking through now. I think I'd probably say, like, as a hardcore band alone, it might be my favorite hardcore release of this year. Obviously, I've checked out Drain before. I've always liked what they've done, and I think that it's really great. Ever since I heard Feel the Pressure, I was like, I like what these boys are doing. But when I listened to this album, I feel like I became like a true fan. I feel like it's, in my opinion, the strongest that they've done. Like the riffs on here are absolutely out of this world. I feel like it gets you so hyped. Every song that comes on is just an absolute rager for sure.
Oh yeah.
I After obviously listening to this, I was gutted that I missed them live because I know you guys went to go see them and it looked incredible.
Mate, it was so fucking fun. Like, I didn't stop smiling through the entire set because it was just like, you know what? It didn't have like any sort of inkling of like, yeah, fucking hard. It's just like, it was like, had the vibe of just have fun, man. It'd be funny. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I like about Drain. They don't have like this false persona of like, yeah, we're hard dudes. It's just like, no, you could have a beer with us and we'll probably make you laugh a few times. Like, that's what the entire vibe that the band like puts across to me.
No, exactly. But it's like there's so much groove on the album. Like every riff is a bop, but it's also like something you can have a boogie to. Like, and I love that about Drain. Like the way that they write riffs is so unique to Drain, and it's like the hardness of it never loses the groovy and song element of it, and it's perfect.
Not only that, there's like so many different elements in it. I'm just gonna pull up the song name because there's one that really, really stands out to me. Because it's that sort of almost like not pop punky, but a slower song in the album that I just thought was so well done.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the pop punk because there's definitely some of that in there, which you wouldn't expect from a hardcore band, but like actually works so well.
Good things. Yeah, that's a fucking banger. Like, I mean, it's like, it's just like the chorus is like, I've been thinking good things about you. It just makes you want to sit next, like, on a beach somewhere, have a margarita or like a cocktail, sit there just with your headphones in, just enjoy the sun. And makes you happy. It genuinely does. It makes you.
Then Run Your Luck comes on and you want to throw that margarita at someone's head. Yeah. That's the
and then he's like lobs it. But yeah, no, I think Drain's just one of those bands that like it's like what we're saying about Never Ending Games album though. It just something about it that just makes you feel happy for some reason. Exactly. Like, but like Drain's, it's on a different level of like, oh no, this is just fun. Like, and you know what? I'm gonna absolutely shove it in your face that we got to see him at Brooder now, right? Because I
super jealous, man.
Those tickets sold out in 10 minutes. I set alarms on my phone so I could check in and buy tickets as soon as possible. Like, I bought the ones that I had, and within 5 minutes they were gone. I was like,
it's coming up, aren't they? Like, they're proper coming up, and they deserve every bit of fame that they're getting right now.
You know what? It's just there's no ego to them by the looks of things. Like, they just come across as just fun guys that just like making music.
Yeah, and that comes through in the music as well. Like, not even just like the way that, you've got songs like the pop punk one style that we mentioned, but also just like the other songs that are a bit harder. It never loses that fun side to it. Like, they've got that, even if it's like intentional or not. I think it comes through. It's almost like their personality mirrors in the music, and it's great.
Yeah, like, I remember when on their fucking in the middle of their set, someone did like a flip off a stage, and you heard the vocalist like verbally just stop and go, was that a fucking backflip?" Like, it just changed shot. But then like there was like someone that brought an inflatable whale to the fucking to it, and then like he got someone to grab onto it, and everyone crowd surfed him around Bruder now. And like someone was, I think one of them shouted "Shamu," and it's just like there was just stuff like that made it really fun. Like, it's like there was no like, oh yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a laugh. Like,
Yeah, exactly. What's next for you?
so I think this is the last one in the no particular order for me. Because yeah, we've gone through Drain, we've gone through Tsunami, Never Ending Game, Bugging. So I think the last one is Gel. Because Gel, again, another one that came out like mid this year, that I really enjoyed, kind of forgot about towards the end. They like not they'd come out and not that and not in a bad way. It was just kind of like there was that much shit on that I just listened and I was like, and then I realized, oh yeah, shit, Joe released a new album. Listened to it again and I really enjoyed it. It's a solid album. Like, it's everything that you've come to like from Gel, just done really, really well. Like, again, it's one of those where it's like a Tsunami thing where they don't break the mold, they just do what's in the mold very, 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 very well. Again, like really groovy. It's not like it doesn't feel angry, it just feels like it's trying to get a point across, and it does get a point across. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Jello one of those bands as well, along with like Drain and things like that. Just a proper new wave of great bands. Like, it's such a good place in the scene for, death metal, hardcore, and extreme music in general. And like, I feel like Gel are really a part of that. I enjoyed what I listened to of Gel. Again, it's not like a band that I've really dived into too much, but I appreciate what they do. And I think like, someday I'm gonna sit down, probably, really give them a bash. Maybe soon, maybe I'll try with the album. But from what I listened to, yeah, proper slaps you in the face. Love it.
Another great band to see live as well.
So bad.
Like, so much energy.
Playing with Municipal Waste, aren't they?
Yeah. That was a curveball. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, to be fair,
it makes sense though, to be fair, because Municipal Waste have got the hardcore elements, don't they? There's like kind of crossover shit. So yeah. Next for me, so a band that has definitely faced a lot of controversy this year, but we're not going to get into that. I want to talk about the music aside, because
I can't believe you put this on the list, to be honest.
No, because in the midst of this, it's That Is Murder album, Godlike. I love this album. Like, it was great. Like, I'm taking everything aside. They've done what they needed to do to, like, get said person off the album to, preserve whatever. I'm not going to take a side in that. But what I will say is, I love this. Obviously, it's been about 5 years since That Is Murder released Human Target, which I think you can agree that was a fucking phenomenal album. Really, really set the bar. And, you didn't really hear much, like, in terms of writing. I feel like this album kind of came out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden we're getting singles. They released Blood Throne, which I thought was incredible single. Some amazing riffs. And it was hard to come back from Human Target because I feel like that set the bar. I still prefer that album a tiny bit more, but I feel like, they went from being this deathcore band, in the early 2000s and, late 2010s to now kind of going into this brand of death metal that's infused with deathcore, but it's not really one or the other. And there's a lot of darker elements. Obviously there's plenty of melodies, some great riffs in there, some beat downs. It's just incredible. Like, I'm glad that, because we talked before, deathcore can get a bit stale sometimes when bands just do the same thing. but a lot of the legacy bands in the genre are trying to push the bar and just kind of separate themselves from that a bit. All the musicianship in this album all played incredible. I think, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to avoid this album because of what happened. But, technically it does have a new singer now. I think it's the Aversion's Crown guy, if I'm not mistaken. I can't tell the difference, I'll be honest. Like, if they say that they've removed CJ and put him on, I won't be able to tell. But that being said, I would recommend people to check it out because I think it is still a really great album.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I didn't really like this album that much.
Yeah.
No, I found with Die Art, I kind of grew, not that I grew out of them, that's the wrong term of phrase. I just found like I knew what I was getting. And when I listened to this one, I kind of knew what I was getting. And like, that's the thing, like it's just like a personal preference thing. I'm not going to say, oh, you shouldn't like this album, because I think everything that's in it is well put together.
Yeah.
I personally, it didn't vibe with me. I didn't think it was, it's not that I didn't think it was good. It was just more like, it was just wasn't for me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was like, it's all right.
Yeah, I think that's fair because, like, as much as I love the album, I can't say like it's revolutionary. Like they have changed as a band since the early days, but they haven't really changed much since like Human Target. I feel like it's very much in that vein still. And I think if you're in the mood for Thy Art Is Murder, you are going to get it with this release. If you're looking for like a completely new experimental album, you're probably not going to get it. But if you go in and looking for that sound, I think you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, because I think my biggest gripe is that we kind of, like, they had like Purest Strain of Hate, and then like there was some more elements added in Puppet Master, right? So there were like more elements added in Puppet Master, but then after Puppet Master, that's the version of Thy Art. It feels like you're just gonna get forever. So that's why I don't really gel with it that much, because it's I've kind of heard it. Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing that, to me, there's nothing that you wouldn't get from the previous releases. Do you know what I mean? In this, there's nothing like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like a Die Art. It just feels like a Die Art album. But a Die Art as a band is something I've just kind of like, it's not for me anymore.
I think that's fair to say. I'm interested to see, now that the Aversion's Crown guy's in there, like, if the sound is going to change. Like, is it going to be the same, or is he going to add a bit of his own sort of taste in there? But yeah, well, I guess we'll wait and see. Obviously, we're going to go into the top 5 soon, but because obviously the definitive top 5, because we had the same with Drain, I'm going to go into mine quickly, and then we can go into our top 5 just to make it obviously evenly ordered. So my one is Blood Command, World Domination. So this actually caught me off guard because, I had an idea of like how I thought my top 10 was going. It was all kind of like, I guess, bands that I knew about already. Like, there's not a lot of like, oh, this is a new band. I'm going to add these in, or, I'm going to check them out. And they managed to make the way in. I think all the bands that I already knew made some really solid releases. Well, Blood Command, I was just sort of like, because what I like to do sometimes is, I'll look on Twitter, I'll see what people are talking about. I'll sometimes, and this is kind of weird, this, because usually I think these lists from like, news outlets are usually pretty weak and they just kind of go for the obvious ones. But I think I was looking at a Metal Hammer list of what the best albums of 2023 were so far. And they mentioned Blood Command. I was like, I've never heard of this band ever. So there are like a hardcore / thrash, / a lot of different things thrown in. And it blew me away because the whole album, much like what we talked about in some of the other releases, is so diverse. Like, it's just got like, some really great, fast elements. It's got some like, I guess, punk elements as well. Like, it's got the punk style and the attitude that comes with it. And I absolutely love that about this. And it's got some groove in there. So, there's definitely plenty of times when you can bop your head a bit and have a good time. And then you get to like these weird interludes where there's like a rap song halfway through and like some electronic song. And you wouldn't think that it would work, but they managed to pull it off pretty well. And it leads and transitions nicely into the rest of the music. So yeah, I consider myself a fan now. Like, I wasn't expecting this band to come in and just like, cause a chain reaction in my entire list. But yeah, fucking hell, Blood Command, sick band, came out of nowhere. And I think more people need to be put onto this because it sort of went under so many people's radar, and it's incredible.
It went under mine, right? But then when you sent me the list, I listened to it, and I think this was like the one out of the entire list that I was like, fucking yeah. I thought it was really good. Like, even what you were saying, like these little interludes are like, there's like one song that reminds me of 100 Gex, like this almost like electronic noisecore song.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
That's
you're
what
there,
I mean.
were you there? Like, what the fuck is this?
So as a band switch or something, I'll put it on shuffle backs. And,
yeah, that was my first thought. And like I think I put a note in my phone where I described it. Hang on, you pull it up. Yeah, so I described it as it was kind of like Game of Thrones. You know, the album was kind of like Game of Thrones in the sense of, do you know? Remember that old theory that like Game of Thrones, it was like whenever like there'd be a lot of boring, immediately after there'd be like either a fight scene where someone got their head smashed in, or like a nude scene. And it was like, by the way, I tested this.
You know,
shit
tits
out.
and gores coming. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I tested this shit out, and it actually, you know what? Whoever made this theory is actually fucking Bob Wright, because there was every time I rewatching Game of Thrones, every time I went to go reach my phone and watch TikTok, like someone's head just got cut off. I was like, fucking hell, what's happening? Like,
That's true though. That is absolutely true.
That's how I would describe it, because like the minute you kind of like, okay, yeah, I feel like I know what's going on, you'd be hit with something like that, and you're like, whoa, okay, what the fuck? And then like it go on again, and you're like, okay, I feel like I know what's going on, and then it happen again, and you're like, okay, I guess I don't know what this shit's about. I'm not back in now. And it was really fucking interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, that is absolutely true. And I think if I was going to give an award on some of my albums for like, you know, the curveballs that I've thrown in but like pulled off, it would be Blood Command. So yeah, honestly, I listened to it. I was like, I reckon Nathan is going to like this one because it's like, you know, a really great hardcore metal album, but also just like proper diverse, and they do it right. It's very easy to fuck up doing things like that, you know, when you just throw something that just you wouldn't expect to be on there. But yeah, chef's kiss.
It was very good. Very, very, very
right.
Good.
We're in the top 5 now, the big leagues. What's number 5?
The definitive top 5. So I found it really hard organizing this bit. So for me, my number 5, and this was a late addition to the year. Like, I think it's only been out since like October or like November-ish. But fucking Harm's Way, Common Suffering. What a fucking album, right? Because like obviously Harm's Way hasn't done much in terms of releases for a while, and I think they knew it's like, right, being a bit of hiatus when it comes to releases, we're gonna release something. It's got to be fucking it's got to top everything else. And did they fucking top that? From like the first song that kicks in, you know everything that's going to be in the album, like that. But like, fuck me, it's just an expansion of what Harm's Way was. Do you know what I mean? Like before then, but yeah, really, really fucking good metallic hardcore band. It's like, but then they dropped this. Like, you know what? Probably the best metallic hardcore band. Do you know what I mean? Like in my humble fucking opinion. But there's some songs where it's like transcend. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like these like really fucking droning, like almost creepy sounding riffs.
Yeah.
That then transfer into like a really hard riff. The vocal work on it is really fucking good. The guitar work on it's really good. The drum work's really good. There's new elements in there that's like, you're like, oh my god. And it tops everything they've done, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, like out of the ones that you sent me, and I know who Harm's Way are, it's like, you know, you get these bands that people talk about and they float around, and you just like, again, you just never get the chance to really sit down. And obviously, I was listening to them, I was listening to the songs that you sent me, like trying to consume as much as I possibly could. And like, this was the band that I wanted to listen to more of. Like, I wanted to keep on listening to that entire album because it was fucking incredible. And tomorrow, that's the first thing I'm doing. I remember I was like, I think a few of the songs were queued up and they played in the gym, and I was like doing some leg press. Yeah, I got gym now again. I was like, oh, I can't do it. And this song came, I was like, fucking yeah, let's start fucking doing leg press. Like,
you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those where it's like so well done. as
It's
well.
raw,
Like,
visceral. Like I said, it's got the atmosphere. Like it builds it up, and then it just like smacks you, and it's just incredible riffing that's just going on. Like fucking, I think it's just exactly like when you think of metallic hardcore. Like this is a standard. You know what I mean?
yeah, but like that's the thing. Like that's why I was like,
Michelin star hardcore. Mate.
yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like I was sat there, because I knew it would obviously I knew it was coming out because I watched like Hard Law, and Bo was saying, "Oh yeah, Armsware is doing this. We're writing at the moment," and like I was sat there going, "Oh fucking, I can't wait," because like Posthuman, is it post? Let me double check because the amount of times I've fucked something up on a fucking podcast episode that people are going to start thinking I'm a poser. I'm going to quickly fucking. I'm 99.99% sure it's Posthuman. Hang on. Harmsway. Right.
Should put a bet on it, mate.
Yes, it is. It is Posthuman. But
Ding,
Posthuman
ding, ding.
was like probably one of the first. I got into Harmsway really late, and that was like the first album I'd listened to from Harmsway, and I was like, "Oh, this is such a fucking perfect album." Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it is such a perfect album. I don't know how they're going to top this, and it was one of those things. That was like, I think they knew that as well, and they were like, "Nah, the other one was genuinely really, really good. We got a lot of hype off of that. People loved it. Whatever we do now has to be fucking unbelievable," and they top it. And I was like, "Oh my god, man!" Like
Yeah,
stuff that,
honestly.
like I didn't even think they, like not that they. I didn't even think they could do stuff that I wouldn't expect them to do it in there, and that's what's amazing about it. I just thought this is a perfect fucking album. I think it's going to be one of those albums that's like, in like 20 years' time, people are like this was the album. Do you know what I mean? Like this was a fucking unbelievable album. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, man. It's like, kid with his like a father with his son, just like, yeah, well, Jimmy, this is what metallic
oh, mate,
hardcore was.
when I have kids, that's one of the first albums I'm popping on. Going, nah, you're gonna fucking learn today.
And you're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, they're gonna like it's about the 16th birthday. About son, it's time, and it would be
Sweet
this
16
top 5 list.
Harmsway.
Yeah, it'd be this top 5 list. I'm like, you're gonna listen to every fucking album on this list right
No,
now.
too right, man. Yeah, absolutely incredible. So, my top 5, it's Burner. It all returns to nothing. Obviously, big shout out to Harry from Burner. Absolute solid dude. Talked to him this year on the podcast. Honestly, great. We've had some great chats with him, like, on the podcast, off the podcast. But as well as that, they made a monumental album this year. Like, I think this came out quite early on in the year. And again, I said, things were being a bit slow. And I was like, struggling to find like, new bands that really grabbed me. Like I found a lot that I liked, but not that I loved. And this was an album that I absolutely thought was incredible because it's so different to everything else that was going on around it. You've got this sort of like hardcore metal infusion, but as well, you've got a bit of mathcore in there. I'm sensing a bit of Dillinger with like how frantic it is. You've got a song like Pyramid Head, which is just an absolute bop. Like the riff in that is just like 1 to 11. Like it's so fast, but like, never loses the melody. Again, we're talking about like, metal infused hardcore that works well. I think this does it perfectly too. I think this is one to remember for sure. And I think, if Burner wasn't on the map before, they certainly are now.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember when I obviously we listened to it when we were getting him on. I listened to it for like probably the first time because again, I think a lot of people might assume that we have like a lot of conversation about who we're getting on. I think most of the time it's like, oh, I'm thinking about getting this band on. Can you do this time? And like, if one of us hadn't heard of the band, we were just like, yeah, and then we just quickly fucking search it. We broke that veil now. But like everyone's going, I thought they planned everything.
Nope.
No, we don't. But again, it was one of those bands that you discovered. Wanted to get them on, got them on. And I was like, right, let me listen to them. And I was like, fuck me. And like, I was so excited for that fucking interview after listening to that album because I was like, this is fucking, next level. Another band from the UK as well that's absolutely fucking smashing it. Like,
yeah. Absolutely, man. I think the thing is about Burner, and after speaking to Harry, he was so heavily involved in the Leeds hardcore scene, back in the day, and obviously he's into metal as well. I think when you got the love for both of them, I think you that's when you can create such a
Something mad,
perfect,
yeah,
such a perfect blend of the metal and the hardcore sound. Like I think if you got one foot in one and only a little foot in the other, like you're gonna struggle to really capture how it should sound. Well, I feel like with Burner, because they've all got so many different influences, like it carries extremely well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I said it to Harry when we interviewed him. Like it scratched the itch that Nails left for me.
Definitely.
It reminded me instantly of Nails, and like it was one of those things. Like fucking yeah, I've wanted this for a while. Because I found like loads of people tried copying that shit, but just didn't nail it. But I think it's because they want
Nice
going.
one.
Yeah, I didn't even know I did that. Hang on, let me try something. Never mind. I saw on like another podcast when he went like that, all these like party lights went off. Anyway, but no pun intended, but I found a lot of bands tried copying that when Nails came out and didn't quite stick the landing. They felt like a knockout nail, but I think because how like the band, like from speaking to them, clearly it was an influence, but they weren't going for that. I think that's why they nailed it. Because we were just pulling from these places, right? And he was like, well, whatever came out, like felt like Nails to me, but in a good way, not like a copycat. And it's like, no. This is exactly what I've wanted for years since those fuckers almost broke up. You know what I mean? Like it just hit me so well, and I think I agree with it being a fucking banging album.
Yeah, completely diverse, incredible. I can't wait to see what Burner's going to do next because they've extremely set the bar. So go on, what's next for you?
Okay, so my next one is Pain of Truth, Not Through Blood. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right, every song with a fucking feature, right? Hard songs all the way out, right? It is honestly, like, you come to know what you're getting with Pain of Truth. But this one, like, threw a few curveballs in there, had fucking features from like 200 Stab Rooms. That's my favorite track from the fucking album. It's just firing in all cylinders all simultaneously, and like each feature, you're like, oh my god, yeah, makes perfect sense. And like each one's picked out, and you're like, oh my, yeah, that makes perfect sense for this song. Like, yeah, of course I'd get that person if I were writing this. I'd get that person too. It's really well fucking done, and like it's amazing to see what Pain of Truth achieved with only an EP. They got so big off of just one EP, and each time they release something, it's increasingly more solid. Again, I said this about Tsunami, but I also am going to apply the same to Pain of Truth, that they are the rock star modern hardcore. They don't fucking miss. Every song off that album is a fucking banger. Like you could just rinse through it, right? And you want to listen to it all again from the very top down to the bottom again, front to back, fucking side to side, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's just one of those where it's like you're gonna want to keep coming to it because it's like gives you a vibe that you're like, oh yeah, no, I want that now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from what I listened to, I proper enjoyed it. I think it's actually, speaking of Burner, I think Harry actually put me onto Pain of Truth, and he was like, yeah, check these out, they're really good. And I enjoyed them. And I think, like, this new album, from what I've listened to, sounds like some of the best work, at least, my little listening of Pain of Truth. Yeah, absolutely incredible. They've got a sort of that raw attitude, I think, from like old hardcore bands as well. Like when you listen to it, you don't always associate that they would be like a modern hardcore band because they're very much like got their foot in a bit of the old style too, I reckon.
Oh yeah, like the thing is, the song "You and Me" kind of breaks the album up really well as well. Like you've got these two really hard songs, and you've got "You and Me," which is still hard, but it lifts its foot off the gas a little bit, and then the next song goes, it's going back down, motherfucker, and it just keeps going.
That's what you want, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of those where it's like, it's an album where you want to go back to. It's like the Godeth album. If every year I could put the Godeth album on this list, I would each time.
It's incredible,
each time, because like it's one of those where it's like you listen to it once and you're like, that was so fucking hard. I want to listen to again. And then you do. I've listened to the Godeth album like 4 times. Like just like not 4 times, at least like 50 fucking times. Like every fucking week, I'm listening to at least one song off of that fucking EP. Same thing with this. Like I'll go back and go, you know what? Today I really want to watch. Like, really want to listen to You and Me. Or it's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Today I want to listen to the 200 Stabbings vocalist do that bit.
Yeah, that is a
Like,
credible feature. That
motherfucker, mate. That live, we're seeing him live, right? That bit, I'm gonna kill someone.
I'm gonna kill someone.
Yeah, like, it's just gonna do something to me where I'm like, right, homicide.
Yeah, man, it's such a like good primal aspect to the album, like proper curb stomping riffs here and there. Absolutely love it. Yeah, well, that's another one I'm gonna go check out. My next one, at number 4, is Solosis, A Sign of Things to Come. Obviously, I've been a massive fan of Solosis from as long as I can remember. Like, you know, you've got those bands that somehow have always managed to stay quite close to like your favorite bands. And they took a break for a long time. You know, they went on hiatus. They came back with Cycle of Suffering, which is a great album. But I didn't feel like it was as strong, I guess, as some of the early releases. They've changed quite a lot as well. Like, you know, they've always been this groovy sort of like, you can't even place them. They've sort of like got their own style. They've got like a bit of the, you know, fingers and all the puddings kind of thing. They've got some in like hardcore.
Wait, fucking, that's not a saying.
Is it
fingers in all the puddings?
Is it fingers in the pies, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got all of his He's got all of his fingers in different pies. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
fingers
pies.
in the puddings, mate. The fucking puddings.
Yeah, okay. He's got his fingers in the pies and whatever the fuck it goes. But yeah, so you've got a bit of thrash, you got a bit of hardcore, you got metalcore, you got a bit of death metal. I think that's what's kept it so fresh with Solosis for me, because you know, every album has been a slightly different, but I feel like, you know, they've got their own sound. I feel like, you know, Josh went into Architects for a bit, and he's also come back, and I think he's taken some of, you know, it doesn't sound like Architects, but I think he's brought something from them, like a bit of like, you know, new vibes into there for sure. This album's got some great choruses to sing along to, but it never loses the heaviness. Like, you got a song like Deadwood, which has got like probably one of the best breakdowns they've ever released. But the best thing about this album is he's always tried to do clean vocals, and it's always been pretty good. But I feel like now he could be a singer, and if he did a whole album doing clean vocals, he could still pull that off and it'd be amazing. So his cleans have reached the level of his highs, or his lows, more like. And it's just incredible. And, you know, I got to see them live once again when they played with Malevolence. And they fit in well. Like, you know, people enjoyed them. You know, you had them, Justice for the Damned, you know, all the bands together. Like, you know, they all have different sounds, but all like played well together. Yeah, I absolutely love Solosis. They're one of my favorite bands for sure. And I think, you know, every time they knock it out of the park, and I think that's why they fit on so many different bills.
I think that, you know what, the thing I really like and appreciate about Solosis is it doesn't feel so like people. I think a lot of people might assume I hate metalcore. I don't. I like when people are original with it. Do you know what I mean? Like I like when people are original with it, but I think there's a lot of copycats. That's what I like about Solosis is it doesn't feel like they're trying to be anyone else. That's something that I think is really commendable with them, because you could make, you know, let's face it, you could be popular and do you know what I mean? Like, I just copy that fucking riff. You know,
the boys being an Architects and he didn't fucking copy the riffs. There's no excuse for people to do it.
Yeah. Out of everyone, he's got the right. He's like, hey, I fucking play this like 6 times a fucking week.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, they went for their own style, and it reminds me of, like, you know, like the Kill Switch area metalcore, where it really did feel like you know, like a bit of hardcore, bit of metal. Yeah, let's just put them together a little bit, right? Where it does feel like that old school sort of vibe to it, where it's not like, let's just see if we can make our guitars like djenty and all that shit, right? It's just let's just fucking write some good riffs, sing over it, do a bit of screaming. There you go.
Yeah, definitely. I think because they were, they're an old band now for sure. Like they've been around since like the early 2000s. Same thing with like Trivium, Killswitch, like all these bands that are like classed as metalcore. Some of them are barely like classed as that anymore. Like but they sort of always do their own thing. They don't really care what anybody else thinks. It doesn't have to be metalcore, but they don't try and copy anybody else. They've got their own style. They're all doing their own things. Oh, I'm going over here now for a bit. I might go a bit death metal for a while, but they always manage to pull it off. I think because they've got that sort of they've got the CV. They've got a filled out CV worth of like playing with all these bands, playing with all these different influences, and they pull it off because they're just solid musicians, and that's the only way to put it.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
100%. My next one is Coffin Mulch.
Amazing.
Spectral inter. It's a hard word for me to fucking pronounce. I get really tongue tied with shit like this.
Intercession.
Yeah, Spectral Intercession.
I don't even know if I'm right, to be honest, but we'll say
I find it really hard to pronounce shit like that. It's not even a complicated word. I'm just really fucking stupid. I just go intercession. But fucking mate, Coffee Mulch, easily, in my opinion, the best death metal band to be coming out of the UK at the moment. Fucking that like again.
Even
that
even
like thing
agrees
again.
with you.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I love a bit of Coffee Mulch, yeah.
It's like whenever it sees a bit of fun. Hang on. It's not doing it now. I'm gonna look fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, but they're one of the best death metal bands to come out of the UK. I think, in fact, in my opinion, the best. I think the second best is Celestial Sanctuary. I think with Coffee Mulch, there's like an added rawness to them that like
Definitely.
it just really hits you. Where like even down to what mate, one thing that, even though this album's fucking incredible, one thing that really like hit it with me was when Al told us that the screams in between certain songs and stuff aren't like stuff he's just done because he thinks it sounds good. It was like him screaming in the middle, in between songs and stuff like that, because he broke his rib. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Before recording, and he was actually in pain, and he'd just be like letting out a yelp every now and again to fucking try and focus himself a bit. When every time I hear those bits, the fucking because I know that's like fucking hairs on my arms stand up, because it's like, fuck yeah, you can tell once you hear that bit. But obviously, that aside, the album itself is so well put together. Like, it's everything that he says in it means something, but every single bit of the I find it fucking crazy they've only got one guitarist. There's sections where I'm there like there's two fucking people playing. I don't care what anyone says.
He's carrying two guitarists worth of riffs in there.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like when we saw him live, I knew with the preconception they only had one guitarist, right? But I remember seeing them live at Damnation, and like, this sounds exactly like the album. No, but like this sounds exactly like the album, and I'm like,
definitely.
And I thought they maybe layered, like guitars to, like to add stuff. Nah, that's all just one fucking guy, and that's what's amazing. Drumming on it's fucking spectacular. Al's vocals, like, really, I think as a sound, they tie the bow. He's got the perfect vocals for the sound they've got. Like,
exactly.
Not like too hot. It sounds like his voice just a little bit like more tuned down, and like it really fits that fucking style with the guitar tone and everything like that. It adds like this extra layer, and I like how they use the vocals in it, where they're not like in a weird way, they're not like forefront, but nothing is forefront.
Yeah,
everything's kind of just like
perfectly.
this, like everything's just kind of like at you, like it's almost like it's in the distance. Do you know what I mean? But that's what's great. It sounds great because of that.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, I've got big things to say about Coffee Mulch. I mean, like, it feels like, it does have that rawness to it. And I think when I listen to this album, it kind of feels like that long lost album that was like made in the 80s, and like people have just discovered it. Like, it's mixed incredibly well. Like, it's like nothing's at the forefront that we shouldn't be. Like, everything is just at the level it should be. And the fact that, his vocals are like mostly raw, and you get these moments of interludes where it's just because he's generally in pain, it does add to it. And it feels like authentic. If I could pick a word to describe the album, it feels incredibly authentic as a death metal records. and I don't think they're trying to do, not trying to copy anyone. They're just purely Coffin Mulch, and all as a band, the musicianship that goes on, it's just, you would have thought like these guys have been in Coffee Mulch for like 40 years because of how professional they play. And seeing them live just made me love them even more. And obviously Al's a fucking great dude too. And yeah, like live, absolutely incredible, super heavy, super technical. But it's got an authentic style. Yeah, big love to Coffee Mulch, honestly.
Not only that, when we saw him live at Damnation, right, hats off to Al, because he looked fucking cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, he looked cool as fuck. With the fucking leather jacket with the flares. The fucking flares on it. I was watching him, I'm going to buy one of those jackets because that shit looks cool.
Yeah, man, he's a proper rock star. Even his like stage presence, like, it's, he's not stood there. He's going around. He's manically running around, screaming he's screaming his heart out to these songs. And like, they're just it's just proper good band. I can't describe it, but like, they are rock stars, I love it.
Like, yeah, they've got that energy about them. And I think like one of the funniest things I think Al said to us at Damnation was, I always hate it when there's barriers because I just like to get in their faces. Like, but I was like, you know what? That's the band that's right for that. Like, do you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, I would love to see him in a tiny venue. Do you know what I mean? Like, with no barriers or anything like that. Because I reckon more mad shit would happen. Like, there was crazy at Damnation.
Makes you feel like you've gone back in time when you see them live. Like, it's like what you imagine shows used to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when you see all the fucking all the clips to like Entombed and fucking Morbid Angel and stuff like, it's like, oh, Entombed 1992 down Los Angeles gig, and people were just losing their fucking minds. And
people were saying about Coffee Mulch 2023 at Damnation.
Yeah, well, it felt like that. It like seeing them live feels like that. It feels like you sat going, this is something I'm definitely going to be like 45 and telling the 20-year-old metal kids about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be like 50-year-old going, I saw Coffee Mulch in this fucking venue at this date before they were like massive. Like, I think they're going to be one of those bands that's like remembered for years. Like,
I think so as well. So next for me, an album that's definitely caused a stir in the hardcore and metal community, Code Orange, The Above. Now, obviously, Code Orange, they're massive now. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, big bills, big tours. They came up as Code Orange kids in the hardcore scene. Since then, obviously, they made like the Forever album, which I think really put them on the map. They became this sort of like, I guess probably, did I say the biggest, or at least one of the biggest, like metal and hardcore infusions. Like, I feel like them and Not Loose together have sort of like, I'd say, if you're going to talk about the biggest ones, it'd probably be them two.
I'd say Not Loose, now bigger than Code Orange.
Oh, yeah. But Code Orange are coming up for sure.
But Code Orange blew. I remember the Code Orange hype when it was like, it's like ultimate peak. They were fucking everywhere. Like, you couldn't see a lineup without those fuckers on it. And even now you can't see a lineup without them on it.
Exactly. No, they've proper come up. But I think they deserve all the credit because they were a super, super creative band. And like, I know people come out and said this is a rock album. It's not like, if you listen to the full album, like it's still got that heaviness, like, but there's some incredible choruses, some like really great atmospheric moments, and I think like a lot of different instruments. I love the way that they play with electronic sounds, and they've got these glitch effects that go on. Like, there's such a unique sound that nobody else has managed to capture. If they haven't succeeded of becoming Code Orange. Like, I think these guys, the way that they perceive music is like above what a lot of the other bands are doing. But you've got like, a song like Grooming My Replacement, which is probably the heaviest song they've ever done, but it will get overlooked because people will only see the singles and think, oh yeah, it's sold out. They haven't. They're doing their own thing and they're trying new things, and that's what I always respect about Code Orange. Like, they don't care which community they're in. They don't care like, what people perceive Code Orange to be. Like, they'll always do their own thing, and I think that's why they're going to keep rising up and getting bigger and bigger. And I still when I first listened to this album, like what you said, like the God set, you wanted to spin it about 10 times. There's not many albums, that I do that with. But as soon as I heard this one, I was like, I'll listen to it a week straight. Only Code Orange, because it was just incredible. Some really soft songs in there that are like somber, but like atmospheric, and the lyrics, very deep, very thoughtful, and you can resonate with a lot of them. So yeah, hats off to Code Orange. Like that's why it's so high for me.
Yeah, the thing is, I like this album. I know a lot of people gave it shit. Like I know some people personally are like, kind of like, no, this is not good. Blah, 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 blah.
It's closed-mindedness, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what is this is the this is something that I don't think many people appreciate about Code Orange, is that it's a collective of people that have got a strong artistic vision.
Absolutely.
Right? Like even down to the photos that release, right? Look back to when they released the fucking Swallowing the Rabbit Hole. Is that a fucking
Incredible.
album?
Yeah. No, that's
Right.
that's the name of
that's a track off the fucking
yeah,
album.
but incredible though.
Yeah. You know what? Why are we so shit at remembering album names? Like
We listen to a fucking shit ton, to be fair.
we're a
You know what I mean?
podcast that does this shit for a living. We can't even remember one album name. But people will know that album, right? Scroll back to their Instagram. The entire fucking everything they put out fit the theme of the album. It was dark, it was gloomy, it was mysterious, right? Excuse me. It was dark, it was mysterious, it was gloomy, and it looked how the album sounded, right? Now flash forward to this one, everything they put out looks how that fucking album sounded, and it's just like an extra layer that makes you appreciate that album more. Do you know what I mean? Like everything about it is, you can tell they're like thought about every fucking minute detail. And like, I don't care what anyone says, this album is still hard. They've just done something different. And like, in reality, it's like that. You should be commended on shit like that. Yeah, it might not be for everyone, but would you rather just fucking them release the same Code Orange Kids tracks over and over again?
Exactly. Then people complain that
they're
making the same album every time. I respect them, and like what you said, incredible point. Like Code Orange, they think so meticulously about every single detail. Like these guys are fucking Picassos of like metal and hardcore. Like they know exactly what they're doing. But as well, you can tell that a lot of different influences come from outside these genres as well. And they pull it off so well. So yeah, hats off to Code Orange. Like they are incredible band. They deserve every bit of love. And I think that people just need to get out this closed-mindedness and like really give this album a chance and just see all the effort that they put into this music, because they are incredible musicians.
Not only that, when people say, "Oh, it's a rock album," is there anything fucking wrong with that? Yeah, but like, is there anything wrong with that? On a surface,
rock's good. There wouldn't be metal without rock. You know what I mean?
Like, is there anything wrong with that? Like, who doesn't like? I'm gonna get shit for this, but who doesn't like Creed? Who doesn't like blasting out a bit of Creed every now and again? Do you know what I mean? I don't mind it. I've recently, you know what? Nickelback. I take back every fucking negative thing about that, because there is some fucking tracks, right? I don't mind blasting out a bit of Nickelback now. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck's... There it is again. That fucking like thing. Anyway, but what's wrong with blasting out a little bit of rock every now and again? Rock's good. It's fun. Do you know what I mean? It's not... Not everything has to be mosh, mosh, mosh. Angry, angry, angry. Boss bleep, foot. It can just be a song. Do you know what I mean? And if it's not for you, right, fair enough. Music is subjective. Art is subjective. But you know what? Just don't share your shit opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I like an album that's diverse, and I think that's what makes me come back to it more. So, what's your second?
My second, you know what? I have never struggled more than this top three. But I think there was like 5 different iterations where one were at the top, then the move. But I looked at it more subjective, and I was like, right, just take a step back, and that's when I reorganized it, and I realized this is the number 2.
I can say without any doubt that the 2 that you've picked that are going to be your first and second probably would have been my honorable shout outs. Like, what would have definitely almost made it to the list. That, yeah, I've got incredible words to say about these 2, so go ahead.
These 2, all right, mate. Frozen Soul, Glacial Domination. What a fucking album. Do you know what I mean? What a fucking album, man. Like, this was like one of those. Again, I've listened to this fucker since it's come out every day, every day. It's so well fucking made. It's chef kiss of a fucking modern death metal album. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is perfect. It's a fucking magnum opus of a death metal album, right? Shout out to Chad. We got him on the fucking podcast this year.
Yeah, amazing dude.
Really, yeah, great dude. But fuck me, it's got everything you want. You know what I mean? Like, even down to fucking the glacial domination. You know what I mean? There's features from Matt Heafy, dying fetus, right? Every punch was not pulled. It was just full power. It's like, yeah, we're fucking Frozen Soul. And when you listen to Frozen Soul's previous releases, everyone's gonna go, "Oh, well, it's not as heavy as it has to." Who the fuck are you, right? Did they listen to the same shit? Did they listen to the same shit? Oh, well, it's better produced. How is anything being made
Sorry
better?
For fucking
an insult, right? I get it. We all like stompy fucking hard riffs that's been like sound like that's, you know, a little bit more edge to it, right? However, this fucking album slaps, man. It's a
Do you know what that's like?
album.
Do you know what it's like? It's like fucking being in a restaurant and I didn't want truffle mayo. I wanted fucking Aldi version of mayo instead. It's like, why would you not want better? Because this is what you get. You get better. Frozen Soul, fucking Glacial Domination is so incredible. Like, this is the standard of death metal. This is like God tier death metal. And, you know, along with like 200 Stab Wounds, Tribal Gears, you know, all these amazing bands, like they're just one of the kings, and that can't be denied. And I feel like the last album was amazing, incredible, but I feel like what makes this one even better is you've just got these sort of like fist pumping riffs, you've got these amazing features, but as well, just there's so much like thought into this, like the fact that every song transitions so well into each other. You've got these little horror interludes of like, you know, what reminds you of like an 80s horror film. Like, it's so well thought out. And then you've got fucking so much going on. And also the songs, what's better is you can actually sing along to a lot of these. You know, they've got choruses that are catchy, and I think that's super important. It's something that a lot of the 90s death metal bands did that some of the new ones don't think about.
That's the thing, like, I can't remember who said it, but I really took this to heart. But like, someone said, when you're writing music or like choruses or lyrics, imagine how it would sound with someone singing it back at you, because that is fuck me,
that's true.
But someone singing it back to you, like a crowd singing back to you, because that's in reality that's what you want the most. You know what I mean? You want people to be singing your songs back to you because you've put so much work into it. You want someone to like it that much they know all the fucking lyrics. You want someone to be chanting along to your fucking songs. You want someone moshing at the same fucking time, right? It's a great point, Brad, because every fucking bit that I don't think there's a chorus in that one that I don't know the lyrics to.
Exactly, like
for a death metal album,
domination, like,
you know what I mean, like
fucking curbs on that.
But no, the reason why I know it, this is one of the fucking best albums made this year as well, is every fucker who I've just like, it's all right, I'll put some background music on, and I'll put fucking Frozen Soul on, and they've gone, who's this?
Exactly.
Every single.
If you don't know Frozen
person,
Soul, you want to know.
Yeah, every fucking person, right? It's like there was like Jordan was around the other day. We were doing Justify demos, and I was like trying to communicate. I was like, right, I have an idea of like how we should do this track, how we should open this riff, like a riff like this, and I put on. I mean, let me put up the name so I don't fucking butcher it again, right? Because I do not want this episode just before it was actually this. Or later on when we like do the first January episode, it's like, hey, about the albums of the year, we said this. We actually meant to say this, and I'm sick of watching back our episodes and being like, fucked up there. So I'm bringing it up. I'm making sure it's the right fucking one. Right, Morbid Effigy. Right,
yeah.
I was like,
incredible song.
I banged on a Morbid Effigy because that fucking that fucking opening riff,
proper
right?
Beat down, you know what I mean? It's got that sort of like beat down element to it.
Mate, fucking when I saw that live, it took every bone in my body not to throw like a fucking kick or something like that. Like, just be like, oh, this is hard. But I was like, played that, and Jordan just went, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But he goes, who's that? And I'm like, Frozen Soul. And I go to turn it off because I was like, oh, you know, I've kind of got my point across. I just want the song to open up with a riff similar to that. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a hard intro, like fucking sample that we used. So I'm like, it needs a hard riff. So I was just showing him a hard riff, and he goes, "Nah, keep it on."
Yeah, keep it.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's how you know it's a fucking great. That they're a great band. It's a great fucking album because he literally went, "Nah, keep it on." He didn't want it off. He was like, "Nah. I want to listen to this all the way through." And if
So
a
fucking
band can
true.
do that, that's a fucking sign of a solid band. Because the amount of bands where people showed me a riff and I'd be like, "Yeah, it's all right, not checked out." If anyone goes, "Nah, I didn't fucking say stop," that's a
Yeah.
solid band. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. So my second one is In Flames, Foregone. So I went on a bit of a journey with In Flames. So I think we talked about it before, of like, you know, In Flames are always that band that I knew who they were, and they're fucking massive. And like I had no idea who listened to them. You know, I didn't really know much about the songs. Like, you know, we went to fucking Key Club for 5 years, and you know, as a metalcore band, you'd expect that, you know, one song might have slipped into the playlist at some point, but no, I didn't really hear much about them. And I went on like a trade of checking them out, and they dropped this album, and like I was just blown away by how good it was. You know, as I guess a godfather of metalcore. It's weird for a band to be a godfather of metalcore, but also a godfather of melodic death metal at the same time. Like these guys have had such a weird career, but incredible. And you know, I know they're not death metal anymore, and everyone, oh, we should do death metal again. Just fucking put it to bed because they're not doing that anymore. And I think, to be honest, they're better as a metalcore band. And that's just how I think. But yeah, absolutely incredible. I feel like this album really brought back some of the heaviness and almost some of the melodic death metal side of the 90s, but encompassing the metalcore that they've grown into as well. Most of their songs made it onto my Spotify Wrapped because I've just played them so many times. I could sing you the words to probably every single song on this album, and it never gets boring for me. And you know, metalcore can become a bit stale at times, but I feel like because these guys are pros, the pros in two different genres, and not many people can do death metal and metalcore as well as In Flames can. And when I saw them live, also a really great band to see. So yeah, no gripes with In Flames. I think that they deserve to be as big as they are, and it's weird that it took me so long to realize that. But yeah,
I find enslaved in flame. I almost said enslaved. Then
I know.
I find In Flames. Fuck me, what is wrong with us today? What's wrong with me? I can't talk. But I found In Flames like a really weird band for me because it's like they're one of those bands where I'll see people like In Flames tattoos,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know. Right, it's the same thing as, you know, like Imagine Dragons, right? I've probably heard a few of their songs like quite a few times. There's people that I've seen with the tattoos. They've clearly got a massive fan base. If any of those fuckers walked into like a McDonald's or something, I wouldn't fucking know. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't know who. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's In Flames. That. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, just some guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't. But that's the thing I've heard. But this album's really good. I do think it's really good. They've just been one of those bands that I don't know. They just don't strike me as like they don't strike a chord for me.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
cup of tea. But I do think this album's really good, and I can see why people like it. But just for me, it's just not. It doesn't. There's certain like I have to like get it. You know, like,
Yeah.
straight away. Like if I don't get it off the bat, I'm never gonna get it. Like there's bands that everyone's been like, oh, you know what, you really should check out their new shit. I'm like, yeah, but that album I listened to in 2016, I just didn't get it. It was a good band,
I think to be honest,
I didn't get it.
I think this album, if you've listened to the album, you're probably never going to become an In Flames fan, because I would say this is the one album that brought together the metalcore and death metal fans of In Flames. Like, it was the perfect balance that they haven't really. I wouldn't say they haven't achieved, because they've made some great albums, but I don't think they've ever matched those two sounds as well as they have done on this album. So I think if you're not going to like In Flames, I don't think this album, you know, after this album, you're not going to be a fan forever. So yeah.
It was. I liked it and I appreciated it. Just one for me.
That's fair.
I sound like a right negative Nancy, because you've not said a bad thing about anything I've picked. But like two things so far, I'm like, you know what? Not for me. Not
That's
for
fair.
me, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I'd rather us be honest on the podcast, you know what I mean, than like bullshit. But yeah, what's your number one? We're down to the final port of call.
Right, I don't even know where to begin with this album. I knew this was going to be the number one. This was like the solid number one from the moment I listened to it. But I don't know. There's so much to unpack about how much I love this album. Like, I think when I first listened to it, all right. So I probably should intro it, but my number one is Frozen Mouth, Last Day of Sun.
Said Frozen Mouth.
Right, skip it back, edit that out.
I
Fuming
keep
Mouth.
that in.
No, because it right next to right next to fucking, choosing two bands next to each other with both beginning with S fucks me up. Right, it's names that really fuck me. Like if someone starts with the same fucking letter,
Yeah.
my brain just goes this, even if it's completely incorrect. Right, Fuming Mouth, Last Day of Sun. I remember when I first listened to this album, like I've been a fan of Fuming Mouth for ages. They've been one of my favorite death metal bands. This album, just you know what? If they didn't release another album after this, I'd be completely fine with that. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I get it, because it's perfect. Like it's the perfect Fuming Mouth album. I sent Siobhan like a message when I listened to it. I think I finished the album and I immediately started to listen. That fucking thumbs up again. But I immediately started to listen to it again, and I sent Siobhan a message saying I think Fuming Mouth is my favorite band now, because I was like, it's so raw. Like the context is like a lot of the lyrical themes. I watched an interview with Matt from Frozen Mouth, and everyone does know that he went through cancer. A lot of the lyrical themes are about that, and like I think honestly, it's probably one of the first death metal albums to actually make me cry.
Yeah.
There's one song in it that I was like, I listened to it and I was reading the lyrics whilst I listened to it, and when you read it with that context, so knowing what he went through whilst this was happening, it really hits a somber note, and it really pulls on your heartstrings, because it feels so, the silence beyond life.
Yeah,
Like,
that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, like it's just, it hits you so deep. You're like, oh my, it does a perfect job of like explaining how that feels in a way, and it's something that you would never really, you can't grasp unless you went through it in a way. Like that's what I find so interesting with like reading that. You could never understand what it's like to live it, but you can understand a little bit more how it feels.
Yeah,
and I think that's what that goes for the entire album. Like the entire album, like has this. I think it has like an extra rawness, and I think it's because of that really just made everything just so like, fuck, this is amazing. Yeah, I mean, like it's so fucking good. Like every single thing about it is, the guitar tone's perfect. Mark's vocals is fucking amazing. And like, if you've watched, I would highly recommend, before you watch the album as well, watching the vlogs on Fuming Mouth's channel of them recording it, because there's a lot of bits where you can see that it shows perfectly all the like the entire like writing process of an album as well, like because there's some struggles in there, that there's a lot of clips of people just venting, and like I think that's even perfect as well, because like I think a lot of times as listeners we listen to the end product and we assume that it was all baked in and it went just like that in the studio. But I know from trying to do it myself for the last fucking 4 years, it's never straightforward, and there's a lot of times where you just want to fucking quit. And there's bits in that where you're like, yeah, I felt like that, not in the same sense, but I felt like, oh yeah, this was shit. Couldn't do this right. We haven't written this right. We had to do this and this went wrong. What's the fucking point? And it's just really rang to me. And then listen to this perfect, I'm not even kidding. I do think it's genuinely a perfect album. This perfect piece of art that's come into the world, finally come out, and it's getting the love it deserves. Is just genuinely like amazing to see.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, this album is like, one of these albums that does not come around very often. And I think, again, I think it's impossible to encompass, like, what he's going through. And it's such a dark and tragic time for Mark, to go through that. But to be able to produce that into an album and make something so raw, like, you get bands that will make an album, maybe they've gone through a rough patch, but like to be physically, going through such an awful disease, like that is, you can't replicate that. You can't pretend to replicate that unless you're actually going through it. And I think the rawness of this album is just incredible, and like the anger, all the emotions that are being thought through in this album, like it comes across so genuine. And I think it's like an unfortunate thing, but also for the music, it's just the most incredible thing, because it's a matter of fact that the best music comes from the most tragic times, and you don't get more of a distraught time than what he's going through. But even when you get a song like Out of Time, which is probably my favorite on the album, when he's first started, I was like, wow, Out of Time, like when he starts with that, it's like fucking hell, like you feel it, you feel everything in this album, and it's generally, like you said, it's a work of art.
That's the thing. Like I remember just listening. I still listen to it like every day now, and I just think like I don't think there's not many albums I don't think these are going to top for me. I honestly think like a few years down the line, if someone goes, "What's your favorite album?" I'll go Fuming Mouth's Last Day Son.
It's incredible, honestly.
There's not a bad song. It's got a perfect flow. The songs are raw. You feel it's like it has just this added depth, and it's like it's amazing that we got to see it come out, because like obviously when it got announced that he did have cancer and all, like it was one of those things. It's like, oh fuck, and it's just, and the guy he's managed to get over it. Well, not over it, but obviously he's managed to go in remission and like produce this artwork, and it feels like it feels like bittersweet. It feels like this is so sad, but like he's got to make the art, and he's got to see it come out,
turn the pain into art.
You know what I mean? He said like a quote where he was like, I thought it really inspiring, and it's not in the album, but it's in the vlog, where he said he wants to get to like Lemmy age. He wants to prove that someone that's had cancer can live to like 80, and I just think that's such a great way of looking at the world, of like, no,
Absolutely.
I want to prove that you can go through something horrific and still come out the other end and live, like a full life.
Absolutely, man.
I felt like when I heard him say that, I thought of the album in that context as well, and like it feels like a triumph. Even though it's a sad album, it feels like a triumphant one as well, because the guy has managed to make this piece of art and release it and go, right, this is what I have felt like. This is what I've the last 3 months, and this is just the music that I wanted to release, like all this time that's finally out, and it feels like, yeah, they fucking did that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what
completely
that's what
agree, man.
about it.
No, too true. So we've got the final album. Now this one came out, I think around summertime, like maybe like May or June. I can't remember exactly which one, but it hasn't changed. Like it's been my favorite since, and it's going to be no surprise if you know me. I fucking love Sleep Token. And I'm probably gonna get some people, oh, why did this one make it to number one? Why isn't it one of the heavier ones? I'm like, Sleep Token is heavy in a lot of aspects, just not the traditional way. So it's Take Me Back to Eden. The album by Sleep Token, the third album in their discography. I fucking love Sleep Token. They're just such a great band. They've come into the metal scene. They've made their own thing. The vocals are some of the most incredible vocals that you'll see across the whole thing. You talk about rawness with Fuming Mouth, like, it's definitely not on the same wavelength, But like, every time you see Sleep Token live or you listen to Sleep Token the album, the matter of the context, you can feel the emotion in his voice. And I feel like Sleep Token came to me at the best time because I was going through a bit of a rough patch, and then this album came out, and I feel like there's not many bands that can pick you up like Sleep Token can, because even though they might be singing about a different context, the music encompasses and gives you that kind of warm hug that you need.
Yeah.
But as well as that,
I put you onto Sleep Token.
You did.
I put
all
you
that
on
time in 2017, mate. Yep, I remember. Yeah, absolutely incredible band. But this album for me is their magnum opus, in my humble opinion. I love the other stuff they've done, but I feel like you've had all these different things that they played around with. You've got the last album, you've got some heavier soft songs. But really, in this album, you've got songs like The Summoning that has some of the best riffage that they've had. But then you get to like the last bit of the song, and you've got this like almost funk section. You've got electronic elements in there. But the song that really is my favorite song of the whole entire year is the actual title track, Take Me Back to Eden. Because to me, I think that's the most incredible piece of work they've ever done. And it's probably one of the best songs I've heard in many years. I don't know why, but it really resonated with me because it takes you on a journey. It's almost like if you were going to play a Sleep Token song to anyone, I'll play them this song because you get from the starts off really somber, typical Sleep Token, creating the atmosphere. And then you get into like almost like a dark pop sort of chorus all the way through. And then you get to the last bit of the song when it's just like fucking beaten down with these heavy ass riffs and then doing the gutturals, which he's fucking really great at, to be honest. Like his gutturals are amazing. He uses them very sparingly. You got a song like Gods from Sundown, and when he uses it for the whole song, but most of the time he sort of teases you a bit with it.
Yeah, I hate it when he does that. Because sometimes you use it and you're there like, give me it
more
now. No.
It's like Kylo Ren in it. It's like more.
Brad, you got to edit a clip of that.
I know.
But
yeah, absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah, do you know what? This was going to be on my list, but then I saw you put it on yours. I thought I'm just going to leave it off the list because I didn't want it to be like, well, my top 3 is Sleep Token, and then you be like, okay, it's on my top, it's my number 1, and then just blows the fucking list out of proportion. But I really enjoyed this as well. Like a lot of the songs, I think 4 of the songs out the album came on my Spotify Wraps because I listened to them that much.
Yeah, man. Aquariga, fucking Granite.
Yeah,
all
they
of
were
them.
mine. Yeah, like
Rain, like even the somber ones, incredible, man.
I was giggling when you were talking about Take Me Back to Eden because I came up with a perfect analogy for Take Me Back to Eden. It is the Freebird of sad metalcore.
Actually, is there?
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
It definitely is.
Because it's just this song that keeps building it, and at the end it just goes buck wild.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's the free, but put that on my gravestone. Sleep Tokens, Take Me Back to Eden is the Freebird of sad metalcore. I'll fucking die on that grave. But the entire the entire album is genuinely beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing is with Sleep Token, well, I've loved them since 2017. Siobhan got me into Sleep Token. Also, my mate Lewis. Shout out to Lewis from Mecramore. And me and him used to chat shit about who the vocalist was. It's really funny. You remember that episode when we spoke about the identity and Lewis sent us the page? Siobhan sent me that like this year, being like, "Well, I figured it out," and I'm like, "I've seen this video. I watched this in 2017. I know." But anyway, I digress. That was a posh word for me, wasn't it?
Oh, I digress.
I digress. Anyway, but I genuinely think the album's genuinely like Sleep Tokens were one of those bands where I liked them as they were. I always found like there was something else that they could put in it and they would be like a different level. And I think in this album, yeah, they did that.
Yeah,
like
the most incredible thing they've done.
The Summoning, right, is just like your standard metalcore song, and you're like, yeah, this is fucking hard, this, right? And then it goes into that jazzy, like funky bit, and you're like, oh, it's like like almost like it sounds like a fucking, like give it to me, baby. That song, right? It gives me that sort of vibe where you're like, oh, you could pop this on as a bit of background music for what. But No, all jokes aside, but like it comes out of nowhere, and you're like, you know what? It works though.
Yep.
And like a lot of it is that for Sleep Talking. It's like it'll pop in, and you're like, you know what? A lot of it does work.
The
And
technicians, man, they just know exactly what they're doing.
yeah,
And it
like,
reads.
you know what the thing is, like I always thought they had to protect. I always would would have loved to see him do headline shows, right? And like I reckon that's going to be in the future.
Oh, it's
Very
it's
soon,
coming
like,
sooner than we think, I think, to be
but
honest.
I would love to see.
They're massive now. It's incredible how big they've become.
I would love to see a full stage production with them in control.
Definitely.
Imagine some of the shit you'd see.
Yeah, man.
Like,
It's a proper abstract now in Sleep Talking, wasn't it?
yeah, like I remember when we saw him, you know, not Damn Knife, fucking Bloodstock.
Yep.
Like, I remember Lavano, she'd never listened to Sleep Talking before. I'm like, wait till he starts singing.
Yeah.
And she came
that
out,
is
she's
it.
like, oh, I fell in love with him as soon as he started singing. Like everything else, it's like, forget that. The minute that guy opens his voice, I'll be like, fucking yeah. Do you know
Probably
what I
some of my
mean? Like,
favorite cleans of all time. Like his vocals are just unbelievable, mate.
like a fucking angel. Like a fucking
Literally.
angel.
But yeah, so that's been our top of the year list. I think we've kept it pretty mixed. I think there's something in there for everyone. Obviously, we'd love to know yours. If you've got your top of the year list, I'm sure, like, you know, most of our friends on the Twitter community are obviously going to be posting theirs for sure. It's that time of year. But yeah, if you want to let us know in the comments who are your favorites,
Yeah, who are your favorites?
who are your favorites.
That pause then made me feel like, is he waiting for me to say something?
Yeah, I don't know why I paused then. It's like a fucking man on standby. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like watching us. We're on streaming services, obviously, if you're listening on there. So yeah, leave us a review. Helps out in the algorithm. And yeah, we hope to see you next episode. Probably by this point, you know, we could be looking at New Year. So, you know, after this, we've got some fun stuff planned for then. So stay tuned. Peace out.